You're such an asshole.
Good morning. Unshaven Cappy getting the stuff banged out of the way this morning. Because Cappy's got to go to the doctor. Nothing's wrong. You should go to the doctor annually. Say, is there anything wrong with me? Get ahead of something? Cancer? What do we got? I haven't been to the doctor in 5 years. Yeah, my now solidly upper middle age, balding, pushing obesity friend. Yes, you shouldn't go to the doctor. That's smart. Dear Cappy, by now there are probably millions of stories of men having their lives ruined by women's false accusations. I don't know about millions. I'm sure over the years with the billions of people, there have been millions of instances. But I don't know about millions of stories. That's an awful lot of stories. Even if these men successfully prove their innocence, a lot of damage will have been done. Then there are the ones who are later exonerated after so many years behind bars. That's tragic. There was the guy who was... he was NFL bound, right? He was going to be a millionaire, and yeah. And I don't want these somewhat rare instances painting and coloring the reputation of all women. However, it's Cappy, walk through the threshold of that door. There is a small chance I will stub my toe, right? But stubbing my toe is not going to end me. It's just going to cause a little bit of pain. Cappy, I mean, let's be honest about it. What are the chances of you getting reprimanded at minimum? Perhaps fired. I don't mean fired, but reprimanded at minimum. If you ask out a girl at work, it's a 1 in 20, wouldn't you think? A 1 in 3? And as many men, women too, have pointed out before, it's one thing if you stub your toe. It's another thing if you ruin your entire career. All that time and effort and energy you went to school and college and education and working, it's the severity of the accusation, false or not. It's the severity of the consequences that really. So, well, that's 1 in 1,000. 1 in 1,000 chance of me losing my career, going to jail, losing my NFL contract. Yes, statistically, but the consequences are like, I'm not 1 in 1,000 chance of the plane crashing. If that was the case, 1 in 1,000, do you know how many plane crashes there would be? An unacceptable amount. I think there'd be, I don't know how many thousands of flights there are around the world each day. I got to imagine a couple thousand. So a couple plane crashes a day? I'm not an airline. But do you see, like, whoa, would you guys fly if it's 1 in 1,000? I mean, it's kind of like crime and punishment. If the punishment is capital, you die. You don't need that many heads on a pike to get people to deter from that activity. Ones who later exonerated after so many years, but they face a significant hurdle to try to rebuild their lives. What, in your opinion, is just compensation for the ones who prove their innocence and then the ones who are later found innocent? Then what is the adequate punishment? What is compensation? Well, all right, I'll get to it later. What is adequate punishment for the false accuser? I believe if anyone has a right to free handouts, it would be men in these situations. No, you don't have, the taxpayer doesn't just come in and make everything whole. I mean, it does now. I'd be going after the individuals. Like if it were up to me, the Microsoft or the Cloudflare, whatever the hell that update that shut everything down, there's one person responsible, or perhaps a chain of command of people responsible. Find those people. You screwed up. Everything. You're working until this is made whole. Going after the company, the people do it because it's got big pockets. But some unfairness happened. It's the taxpayer. I believe if anyone has the right to hand out these men in this situation, or anyone in this situation is falsely accused, they should at least millions of dollars for the suffering and have free health care for life along with free education. Yeah, typical Zoomer. Free shit. No, there's no justice in that. Find the person who falsely accused them. Find the people that said, oh, yep, you're fired, or we're not having your NFL contract. Find the people that caused them the damage and then go after them. Don't go after me. I had nothing to do with this. Person who makes false accusations should not just go to any jail, but they should be sent to the worst of all prisons. No, I think we already have laws on the books here, like fraud or lying to a court or something. Isn't there already laws that would take care of this? And then you go into some things I disagree with, and I'm not going to read on the internet. If somebody's going to falsely accuse somebody of raisoning, they should be required to stake their freedom on it. Judge and prosecutor should also face jail time with the same people that put them away. That might be interesting too. That might be interesting. Something as serious as that. I say this because so many judges have demonstrated anything but impartial behavior in these cases with like a video response. All right. So, and I said, well, look, I can't go over each individual instance. I mean, it's one thing if Susie, like I had a buddy, he didn't even ask a girl out. He asked if she wanted, his department had extra hockey tickets or something. He says, hey, does your department, you guys want these extra hockey tickets? And that was enough to get him called up in front of HR. So it's bullshit, but it's on one extreme where nothing happened and it was very minor. Then there is like the guy who lost an NFL career because he was falsely accused and spent prison time. I think those are the extremes. And so it would have to scale to the cost. All right. So let's go over. I went through 4 different categories where there'd be a false accusation and punishment corresponding, some of which are not under a court of law. So I don't know how you'd enforce them unless someone went in after him in a civil lawsuit. But criminal is basically very simple. People have recommended this before. You will face the same prison sentence as the person you are accusing. So if you accuse somebody of raisoning, all right, and a 5 to 10 year prison sentence comes with that. If it is found out you were lying and there was no raisoning, then you will go and spend the 5 to 10 years in prison or whatever the corresponding sentence is. So I think that's a very simple, I don't care what feminist legal scholars say, oh, you need to assume everyone's in it. No, we're so, this is just in Cappy world, world that functions. Then there'd be civil. So there's the prison, there's the criminal sentencing, but then there's the civil. Okay, well, what are the costs and damages? And lawyers and the legal system have ways to figure that out. But I would say your lost wages that you were in prison, the lost future wages you could have had, like that NFL player. Now, whoever falsely accused him would never come up with the millions of dollars. I would say, okay, NFL, you got to take him back. He was only in there for 3 years. You got to take him back. You train him up. You give him a shot. No, okay. I might think about the NFL. You just believed everyone, If someone costs someone their livelihood, like permanently damaged their reputation, that person's your slave for the rest of your life. We're talking, okay, you're going to work probably 2 jobs. Half of your money's going, you get half to just survive and maintain. Depends on what, the people who lie typically are not your most productive, higher income earning people. But, oh yeah, you're like giving half your income to this person. You're going to mow. You're going to clean their house. You're going to, you ruin that person's life. And now it's just simple that you are going to ruin. Now yours is ruined. You have forfeited your life. So financial loss, lawyers' fees, lost wages if the person had spent any jail time or prison. There'd be a way to calculate, okay, what's the total sum damage to this person's career over the long term? And then we'd come up with a number, and there you go. You could pay this off. Then when it comes to employment, because there's the actual court of law, but then they call it the court of public opinion, but there's little judicial systems within society, middle school being popular, that's a judicial system. But there's employment, place of work, the workplace, that's also judicious. And you don't need cops in a prison system to have these judicial systems have teeth and be able to mete out punishment. And so when it comes to the court of your employer could take away your job. So there is an effective law one must obey there. So obviously the false accuse, if upon finding out you falsely accuse someone, they're fired. I would then go and do an investigation and find out along the chain of command from the complainant to all the way to HR, where they decide, oh yeah, that person was fired. I'm like, how much negligence was here and how much bias was here? I would probably have them all fired or reprimanded, lower pay. Pay would go to compensate the individual that was falsely accused. Person is given their old job back. The company and everyone associated with his or her firing would be forced to write an apology. The wages would be taken from, now keep in mind, the corporation might be 100% guilty of this as well. But I would say at least some of the wages are taken out of the people responsible for the false firing, out of their funds and paid to the individual who's falsely accused. The corporation would also make it whole to cover any lost wages. And any added compensation paid by those who wrongly fired him or her. So there'd be that. A lot of people would just quit by that time, which would be okay. It's like if you want, look, you want a bunch of like, what would it be? A cabal? You want kind of like a mafia? There's a thread or a string or a virus of corruption within your organization, and just get rid of them. Get rid of those people. Oh no, they quit because we said, "Oh, you falsely accused this well, you're fired." And everyone who was involved with the false firing of this person over here, your pay is getting docked, and it's going to him or her. And then college, you say, well, this was very popular 10 years ago, where there was all the face raising accusations on college campus. And you would say, well, what is it? Well, the college could take away they could kick you out. They can expel you. I never really understood that. Well, just go to a different college, man. And I think there were a couple guys who went back and sued and won. Didn't Rolling Stone also get sued successfully? Which is whatever. If you are falsely accused and you can prove it and they kicked you out or I go to war. It is go to war now time. And I know a lot of young men don't have kids. That's what you got to worry about. These guys, they don't need the money. They'll go after you. Discrimination suit. The Supreme Court ruled quite favorably long term, if you look at it, in terms of everybody, which is good. But if you're in college, the false accuser, if proven false, should be immediately expelled. The false and then again, I'm for the person who did the false accusing paying. That person should pay for the falsely accused tuition and lodging to the point of the degree. There should be compensation for emotional or stress or psychological damages of being kicked out. And then kind of like with a corporate environment, all right, who are the obviously politically motivated people who just want to, oh yeah, oh you're out. We're having an investigation. Your kangaroo circus. See, cops or it didn't happen. That's what you could tell right off the bat. Look, did this happen? Go to the cops because there's a criminal investigation. And there's not one person, unless they're truly sick, disgusting people, who don't want to catch the raisinists. Yeah, we want to catch this person. That's bad. There's other people at risk. But if they don't go to the cops, it didn't happen. Sorry. If you go to the Department of Diversity and Whining and Bitching, at whatever, Harvard University. I don't know. Oh, I'm a little suspicious already. And if there is not, okay, fine. You're a private entity. You can do what you, but if it's found out, this isn't true. This is bullshit. Everyone associated with greasing the skids, of fast tracking that and having an opinion and a judgment before any of the evidence came forth. Like, I would just not be kicking people out of school unless there was a criminal investigation with proof. I'd be like, okay, hold on. Well, there's no proof. We can't kick this person out. I mean, if you find that, you can leave if you want. We're sorry, but until it's proven. But if it's proven later on to be false, yeah. But that's what civil court is for. That's what civil suits are for. And then, hang on, let me. Sued college won. I think it was it was like a Iranian guy or a Middle Eastern name. Here, jury awards former Clemson students falsely accused of blank misconduct $5.3 million on defamation and civil conspiracy claims. That's 2022. What was the name? 2015 was against 3 individuals, not Clemson, but campuses across the state took note. That started in 2015. It's a chilling award, said Peter Lake. That kind of award says, but who are the names? Andrew Pompu. All right, this isn't the guy I was thinking. Filed a lawsuit in 2017 alleging that his Clemson classmates, Colin Gahagan, Aaron Wingo, as well as Wingo's father, David, sought defame, harass, abuse, and punish him following a consensual sexual encounter between him and Aaron Wingo. Well, what's she look like? Does it really matter? To me, it does. I believe in physiognomy. It's going to be difficult. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Political science major. All right. After the encounter, filed Title IX complaint against Pompu, alleged she had been assaulted while under the influence of alcohol. See, wait. Wingo had been pursuing him, which happened on his birthday. Friends was not intoxicated. She remembered the encounter well enough the next morning to text Pompu, say, don't tell her on-again, off-again boyfriend what happened. Wow. It was only after Gahagan found out about their hookup that Wingo claimed that she had been incapacitated at the time. Also, her kind of boyfriend found out. Gahagan reportedly told her, if you don't remember, then it's raisoning. The two began calling Pompu a raisinist to their friends. Wow. You know what? Instead of just shutting up, you had to wow. Oh, okay. This is actually interesting. Go ahead and read through it. There you go. Aaron, I'm sorry. Your name is very unique. This is all easily identifiable information on the internet. That was, why can't you just, yeah, I wanted extra dick. Why can't you just say that? What was I looking up? Okay, there's many instances. There was settlements have been awarded by juries to the falsely accused, which is exactly what should happen. Wasn't there the lacrosse team, the Duke lacrosse team? Didn't they sue? Dropped all charges. Okay, how much did the Duke lacrosse team get? 60 million? 60 million? Holy cow. Boy, that's a profitable, for the first time ever going to college actually paid off for some people. Holy shit. 20 million a piece of the 3. There were 3 people accused, 60 million, 20 million a pop. What was it? UVA? 7.5 million. Rolling Stone journalist found guilty over false Virginia accusation. Sabrina Rubin Erdley. I just, you know what? I know this isn't fair, but statistically speaking, it'd just be good to avoid women with Rachel Maddow glasses. Sabrina. Why can't I copy this? Oh. These are the just go through. Just I'm sorry. Physiognomy is your best friend right now. Let's get back to the thing. Yeah, if you are, and it looked like maybe these lawsuits have kind of put an end or a dampening on the fake accusations. But yeah, you should be able to go after these. Even colleges are despicable leftist organizations that hate men, just in case you were wondering. But at the same time, it is not the individual college unless they comply and have their own kangaroo court. If the college says, you got to take that up with the cops, all right, that's not us. But they want to get in there and they want to have their own effective judicial system. Then you can go after them. But I want personal responsibility. If you're at an indifferent university campus, somebody falsely accuses you of a crime, well then, okay, fine. It happened on us. We'll help comply with the investigation, but we're not taking sides on this. That's up for the cops. We're not equipped for this. We're a college. But if the college comes in, well, you're kicked out and you're expelled and we're going to celebrate and da-da-da. All right, now, and guess who's got deep pockets? The college. 60 million. I didn't know Duke University had that. Well, is that state? Isn't that the state taxpayer? See, and at the end of the day, so 60 million in taxpayer money went in there? No. It should have never gotten to that point. Two, go after I think it was a stripper who falsely accused him, if I recall correctly. Go after that person. I guess the institutions, like if you're gonna get involved in these games stuff, that's an investigation, that's a criminal offense. You got to go get the cops and wiping your hands of it. You want to take sides? Well, I guess now you're legally responsible, or expose yourself. But look, here's the deal, and what can we do? I think some of, like, as evidenced by the lawsuits that came forth, there are already rules or laws on the books that allow for retribution and justice. I would like to see criminal charges for people who make false accusations. They shouldn't walk. They just shouldn't walk for ruining a person's life. Absolutely not. I won't say, the accuser and the accusee can be either sex, obviously. But you do see the bias, which is, believe all. I won't say which group it was, but it was believe all one group of people. Won't say who that was. If you want to know who the real tyrants are, I'm not accusing that entire half of the population of being tyrants. I'm just saying that only tyrants would say that, who believe that horse shit. The way, so there's should be criminal punishment, there's civil punishment, there's ways to sue, all that. But you know what the real best way to avoid all this is? You just do what you're doing now. Just be very cautious. Avoid all this shit. I think you boys are doing that. You're like, nope, that's not happening. This isn't happening. Oh, I'll link to it below. The Pence Principle, Bentwick, Randy Bentwick. Short little book. I reviewed it and I'm like, boy, has it come to this? Yeah, it has come to this. It has. Go get that book if you need, like, okay, how do I defend myself? But I think a lot of you are like, no, we're going to go to school online. No, I think girls are not being asked out, right? I see on the internet you're all complaining about not being asked out. Okay, well, you said not to, and there are severe consequences if we ask out the wrong one. And just so you guys know, some interesting data and statistics. Most girls do want you men to ask them out. 75%. It was a poll. I forgot where, how scientific it was. I wasn't. No, 1 in 4 were like, they don't want you to ask. They think it's like, no, you shouldn't in public. 1 in 4 like, no, you shouldn't ask women out in public. Well, that's a pretty significant minority. There's a 1 in 4 chance you're going to bother someone. And most guys don't want to, well, 1 in 4. Yeah, let's just err on the side of caution. And I don't want to bother 1 in 4. And that presents women, not men, a very interesting quandary where a significant percentage of your team, and you're acting like a monolithic cartelish group, guys generally need to know a policy when interacting with you. 1 in 4 of you don't want that to happen. That doesn't mean 1 in 4 are going to file a complaint, but 1 in 4 of you are going to be annoyed. And now we got to worry about, oh, do I get kicked out of my gym? Do I kicked out of the grocery store? Is this going to cause me am I going to get fired? That kind of thing. 1 in 4 is not insignificant. That's a significant minority. It should be heeded. It shouldn't be ignored. And I think men are doing kind of the only thing they can. It's like, okay, well, we're done with this. And, it has been such a small corner men have so completely been painted into by society, not by themselves. That's like, look, your girls are going to have to start really flirting very clearly so we know. And ask women to do something that involves agency and risk and courage. And the slightest bit of chance of rejection ain't going to happen. Look, it's a 2-person game. It's tennis. You got to start hitting that ball back. And but sadly what's happened is society has more or less made it in many instances that the pursuit of women can cost men their lives or livelihood. And that's a tough choice. Hey, we like you girls. Yeah, we really like sex, but we also like living and not being in a cage and having a job. And yeah, it's a rock and a hard place. Oh, why don't they do something between the rock and the hard place? Why don't they eat, what was it, shit sandwich or urine slushy? I don't know, whatever the South Park was. Why aren't they choosing? They're choosing not to choose. There's a third choice. But I think you guys are kind of just, yeah, you got to pay the bills, right? You got to stay out of the cage. I think that the Kavanaugh thing, where in 1986, I don't really necessarily remember it. Like, okay, you could just make up shit that happened 40 years ago, and it gains traction. Bye. Where have all the good men gone? I don't know. Scooby-Doo mystery, you figure it out. But I think you boys, especially now we've had 15 years of the internet, you kind of see the stuff going on, the sex war, making it abundantly clear. I think everyone has gone through the sexual harassment training, and all the, and you just, boy, I got to eat, and rent is expensive. And so I think men kind of, all right, well, we'll let you do it. Strong, independent, equal, right? You can ask us out anytime. We'll just wait. We'll wait for you to drop your handkerchief in a very clear and obvious fashion. Yeah. So there you go. So the wonderful, wonderful situation the sexes find themselves at right now. Okay. All right. Now, you want to know how you can avoid false allegations? Do you want to know how you can avoid false allegations? From here on into eternity, you become self-employed. Yeah. Not only become self-employed, you become qualified. You get your self-employment by training online through self-study. You don't have to go to a college where you sleep with Susie Q and then her sort of boyfriend finds out and now you go through hell and now you got to sue, but maybe win $5.7 million. you could just go to school online for free. There is a field out there where you don't have to set a foot for a second in a college campus. And you can train yourself in software in a field that'll allow you not only self-employment, but remote employment as well. And that is accounting. The sexy, very popular field of accounting. Do you want to become Chad Elkins? Look at all the women he's got. Well, one of them. I got a course out there called The World's Greatest Accounting Career. If you'd like to avoid all the political corporate office bullshit and all the Marxist leftist bullshit of college campuses, you go look into becoming an accountant. By the way, there is no field where you just go be self-employed right away. That's a bit of a misnomer. You will have to spend 2 to 3 years working for someone else in accounting, but after those 2 to 3 years, one of the best fields right now for self and remote employment where you don't have a boss, you have clients, you don't have a boss, but you don't have an office, you don't have coworkers, and you don't have to go to a fucking college, accounting. And so my course, The World's Greatest Accounting Career, which is linked below, goes through the paths of how you want to do it. I would recommend researching about what it's like to be an accountant. This is not what's it like to be an accountant. That's not it. Go and research what's it like to be an accountant. See if that piques your interest. And then if you're like, yeah, this seems interesting, then I would recommend taking this course because it goes through all the different paths and routes by which you can become an accountant, both traditionally employed if you want to go the corporate route, and then self-employed and remotely employed, and all the steps and the ways and the hows and the who's of that. That's available on Teachable, link below. The World's Greatest Accounting Career. Because right now, no one's filed a complaint. At Asshole Consulting, no one's filed a complaint against me. I've not been brought up in a tribunal by Asshole Consulting. Tina in HR did not say that somebody in accounting accused me of saying naughty things. That's because I'm self-employed and I have no boss. And I don't worry about this shit. Matter of fact, I got the best boss in the world. Our meetings are fast. This is a great company to work for. So there you go. It's one of several routes to get self-employment is accounting. The World's Greatest Accounting Career, link below. All right, let's go to the super chats, and I got to go showering. Go to a doctor. Asambo, 400, $2. Bible has death penalty for false accusations. Does it now? Okay. Same back in the day if you stole someone's horse. I think carjacking, yeah, hanging. Hang him right in the public square. Be great. Ross the Skunk, $5. Terrence Popp has a course on administrative violence. You're right. He does. He does. Consider Terrence Popp's administrative violence. That's a very thorough course. I would read the description first because not everyone needs it. You need to be in a situation that would call for it. But I would look that up. Pooping while standing, 10 generous dollars. Fired for creating a toxic work environment when I called out my female boss for mistakes. Employment attorney said I had a small chance of winning given I was a white male. She jumps from job to job. There you go. Look, I've said this before. The future is not going to be working for a large corporation. It just isn't. The large employers, they're just too big. They're too bureaucratic and they're too politicized. It is just like middle school. Becky's really popular. Don't you dare go against what Becky says. And you can't call out, and by call out, you probably mean constructively criticize. You can't do anything. You have to walk on eggshells. And you didn't go to school for 4 to 6 years for that bullshit. Yeah, and then of course you jump job to job and she's gone. And the large corporations are no longer to be tenable places of employment. It may happen in my day. I know they got a lot of economies to scale and size going for them, but it may happen in my day. You will see large companies in mass start to fail because of the political incompetence that they hire. I mean, Disney it happened. I mean, there was a lot of finance firms that went bankrupt in the housing bubble, but the just rank and file corporations, I think you will see where it's like, no, I'm not working for you. Get the fuck out of here. The young people today with their lying flat, like, no, we're not getting master's degrees to work for you. And I'm not going to be here when Becky says we got to do it this way. And if I say, well, that's kind of dumb because isn't it more efficient to do it that way, then I get fired because I hurt someone's feelings. Fuck off. I don't have it. It's just middle school. It's just a continuation of middle school. You get fired for toxic. That might be something where you go get a lawyer. I got an idea where I'd get a fund together and we just go after people like this. We're just like, oh, I see my client didn't get a severance. Okay, here we go. Bob, $2. They're also another easy way to put legally way. They're also another easy way out. Put legalese pro. Okay, good. Bob, $5. Other solution we can do a profile women who are most to less likely. Dude, are you fucking high? What the fuck? I have the occasional typo, man. I get it. Other solution, we can do a profile of women who are least likely to falsely accuse men. I can hear the reeve from afar. There could be a database or a blacklist. I don't know if that's legal though. Look, we could do blacklists and we could do profiles. Oh, does she have Rachel Maddow glasses? Here's what you do. You become a minimalist. You don't need the money. You get an absolutely critical skill where somebody complained about you in HR. Fine, I'll go be a heart surgeon somewhere else. Fuck off. Oh, wait a second now. Just kidding. We could do all these things. I just let the system burn, let it collapse, and then people are like, oh, wait, we can't just be a bunch of lying sexist shit for drama. We can't be emotional. We have to be adults. The whole society needs to suffer and burn and realize, oh, that's the way. That's why rules were a certain way. This is why we can't act like a bunch of little middle schoolers. That's why I can't be a drama queen. Not sure, $2. The plants talk to me. They say they need water. Okay. Reen Schwartzer, $5. Legion of Men did a recent video on this man, lost 14 years. Was he in prison? That's why. See, that shit right there. How, again, not an investigator, not a lawyer working the legal system. How does someone get falsely convicted or wrongly convicted? Shouldn't it be some compelling? You're talking about a man's life. Shouldn't you make darn sure? And what about the gal? Did they go after her? Tee, oops. It's just a face. Well, okay, that's fine. Why aren't men getting married? I don't understand. Did you know, man, to Canadian, unless Chad Tyrone or Chang, it's dicey. I'm Chang. Oh, are you now? Wait, did you? I didn't know you were Asian. Are you? Is it Chang? Is that the Chad of the Asia community? Reen Schwartzer, $5. JD Vance's cat lady comment makes me wonder if he has read Cappy's books and realizes who the problem is that men are not dating or investing. I don't know much about JD. I don't want. I go hiking and I deal with problems that I have control over. Ace Montana tied for first place with Sam Whiskey for the most American name in America. $5. The punishment is the absence of husband material men. Thank you. I said men were just like stepping back and avoiding. You're right. That is the ultimate punishment. And girls would claim old tongue in cheeky, like, we don't need. Okay, fine. And cry yourself to sleep some more. You are right. The absence of husband material men. You're right. They're just not there. They aren't. If you think women crying online is a problem now, it's nothing compared to what's coming. I believe there's like a 30% authenticity. There's like a seed of truth to the fake girls crying on TikTok. But yeah, I'm curious. I've always tried to figure out where that needle lies, but based on actual real world interaction with women, I think they're kind of okay. They're not pining over you and me, Ace. They ain't like, oh, why doesn't Cappy? Oh, it's not that. I guarantee you they are pining over some guy who's like has 19 other women pining over him. And that's probably where the real crying and sadness comes from. Yeah. Well, they got their careers. All right. Link below. The World's Greatest Accounting Career. Also, take a look at that. The Pence Principle by Randall Bentwick. It's available on Amazon. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.